Welcome everybody. This is King Hart. Hey, how y'all doing? Subscribe to my channel if you are not. Please, I want to talk about some stuff again today. People who come to my channel know that I speak about awareness and things to be aware of as a community, as a people. It's very important. And first of all, I'm going to start by reading some stuff that I have online. As some people may know, I have a community action group on Facebook. I have a fan base page, and I do have this YouTube page in this media apparatus. Don't have a lot of followers here, but on my fan base, I have 1,200 people that are there exchanging. And I partner with other people that are thought leaders that have their own work. But this is important, what I want to talk about. And I don't have a lot or much as I think should be. And I really don't think a lot of people should right now. I don't expect a lot of people to like it, but I think people should understand it's important. However, the stuff that I'm talking about on my channel, I think that it's important. But I realize what type of society I live in, and I understand people not really responding or knowing how to respond. This is very serious. It's in our faces, but it's too serious for most people to grasp. You know, people would rather grab smoke, according to actually having true awareness and acting in awareness in terms of the urgency of awareness, because it's very real what we're experiencing as a society, as free moral agents, not just black people. However, black people, we suffer at the majority in terms of these things. We are the main people who suffer according to this, but we are not the only one involved in it, because if it was, we wouldn't be oppressed. Other people are involved in very serious and peculiar ways. And some ways are just plain and simple. But most of this is all narrative depicted and challenged by a power source in terms of the way the human is made. And the way the human mind works scientifically has been studied by overseers, lawmakers, people that are in higher seats of power. You have been studied. And the reason I know this for one simple fact is because they also teach you this in anger management, which I attended and also did a discourse and were also able to have an instructor place in terms of that, in terms of anger management. So, they teach you a lot of scientific things about the human there, how you exist. You can't be more than what you are. And society knows that. So the way you exist scientifically has been figured out, especially men, because we think problem, and then we think solution. But females are in the middle of that because they have hormones. So they pretty much they can do stuff like coupons because they have a middle place in terms of interacting. But the way the male actually operates is to think about the problem and then find the solution. That's just the way he's designed. Now, whether it be uh, something he's doing as an overseer or president or powerful man, where he's creating a delusion or divide and conquer, it still falls under the same category because he's thinking problem solution. The solution is to turn people against each other. That may be the way government decided to anchor their laws and their ideology in terms of who should exist in power and how we should act in power. It's how we should act. Should we do? Should we have a fair design and dynamic according to who we are and what we've accessed? Should we? Or can we depict a certain group to be a bottom feeder in terms of what we're doing as a supply and demand, or as a capitalism? What they need, we have, not what they want, but what they need. And we can also depict also what they want because we are in power. We can now show the human what he wants and what he likes by our media apparatus, by what they see in terms of how their society has been designed over their heads. in terms of who they are. They want to be a part of what life is, and what actually life is what we have put here, and what we have forced people to design. So, but yet they are still the people. So even though people in power do this, we're still the people. They know that, but do we know it? Do we know that we are still the people? Because we the people. See, people support government, but government and politics is the power that controls society. But we support it, and we support it by in terms of which they have anchored us as a group, or what we can access, what type of things we can do. We can't. People without power cannot buy politicians. Politicians are paid for. And that's why people have they say stuff like, in a normal setting where people are voting season, we say, well, he funded her campaign. Why would somebody have to fund anyone's campaign if politicians don't thrive from money and power? Money, what the president of what you can do, what action you can take according to the capitalism that has been designed. So we have to have money to run this campaign. We have to be able to get into the minds of the people. We have to be able to push a narrative that really works, that can mirror really a reciprocation to the public, regardless if it's good or bad. It's our idea to sell it for the greater good of what we're doing, to the agenda that we seem to think that's important. We're not worried about the people. And this is the reason why the first rule of law is self-preservation. And so you can protect yourself. You have every right. However, because of understanding the nature of people can be barbaric. This is something that really exists in the human intellect as a group. This is something that can really adopt even. This is not foreign fetched beyond somewhere else. This is real life where people can be barbaric. That's why the United States had the Atlantic slave trade. That's why the so-called Native Americans were pillaged off their lands, because of barbaric groups and ideology, which means idea. And it reigned, it executed, and people suffered in terms of a group, in terms of a livelihood against humanity. And they had children, and their children had children. So we and other people happen to be the descendants of those who have suffered not only physically, but intellectually. And those who were barbaric as a pillaging group of people also had children. And their children reigned in power according to what their forefathers were able to take or steal or able to possess from a blood sacrifice. You see, this is the way we exist. But however, in terms, we've come a long way, but nowhere in shape, in a way which people think we have, or what they like to tell themselves. Because we have been designed intellectually, a lot of us. Everybody is not out here with the revolutionary mindset and an independent, sophisticated, intellectual intellect. Everybody doesn't have that. Some people don't have it because they don't choose to have it, and some people don't have it because they don't know what it is, because they haven't been introduced to it. Even in terms of being educated, because we have a system that you're educated to serve. And that means you are institutionalized educated. And that's fine. You can sustain pretty much an income or something of that. You can talk about a certain expertise in which you study. And you may be even more open to have your education to afford your mind to open to progress in other information. Depends on who you are. But we know this to be true. There's a lot of things to talk about according to this. And slavery, and I hear a lot of people talking, let me bring it down some. People talk about whether they feel somebody's enslaved or whether we enslaved or not, and this and that, and this and the other. You have to understand this thing is like ABC, or 1, 2, 3. You're telling yourself that it's all convoluted. It's not. if your ancestors were pillaged, slaved in terms of historical anchoring and events, where we know as a black people we were forced in this country as the American Negro to build this country and to suffer inhumane acts of racism, inhumane acts of exchange or fear taxes to do that, and then our families grow up and worried in fear, even drinking the breast milk of a feared slave. Whereas though we understand we had to be careful because we can be harmed and legally killed, where we were worked for free labor to do large projects, oversized projects to build a White House and so forth. And we understand that our society have the writing on the wall. We have laws that protect people according to their history of sufferings that they have already done. Like they have given Jews things and protected them in terms of Holocaust and make them whole as people so that they can have a better choice. The cushion of having choice and the element of choice makes people comfortable. They can actually make themselves. So they have the keys by what? A blank check the United States gave them. So they're having the United States tax dollar to anchor themselves in safety, because this is not because it's a natural thing, it's because it's what the United States is. She's an economic hub. She is safety. She is liberty to whom she wants to be. She has that power off the back of a free labor, off the back of historical sufferings in exchange, off the back of this blood debt, off the back of this blood exchange. She's able to now mobilize people, and she's able to now offer liberties and go in beyond the call of duty. The United States, our tax dollars, our beautiful, powerful beast that we built as a system and a society. You have to understand this. If she can say now to those who she pillaged off their lands, which are the natives, now you have reservations, you have casinos, you can pick up checks. Then this is 1, 2, 3, ABC. It's easy. If she can say now to not Korean, but Asian people that you deserve a money to protect the hate crimes and anti things that we see happen to you in our media apparatus. She can protect those who she suffered in terms of her original sin. She can now say to those who she suffered in terms of original sin, and she should have been done it, to the slaves, here is your inheritance. Let's put it in sector so that it can be, dispersed among you in a sophisticated manner. Everybody can't just take money and run with it. So some people, if you're in our system as mental health or counseling, we need to evaluate you and oversee your situation until you have self-sufficiency. We need to now hire counselors in your behalf, which are people who are you as a protection. And we need to take the intellectual and the educated people who are part of your group to oversee, and which that's why we have politicians. We as Black people have people set up in that sector. We have a historical institution born to protect us, like the Congressional Black Caucus. They're not doing that. And this is what we understand at the grassroots and what we've been talking about in these groups. See, this is a very substantial and very sophisticated, prestigious argument. This is not somebody angry. Correcting this situation is not necessarily, I'm be angry at you. No, you're about to have a sophisticated exchange. You're about to understand in which that you don't want to. We're about to have a very balanced debate. Okay, this is not about me liking you and you liking me. This is about something that's over both of our heads. This is something that we were left with to correct as a society, and in terms of overseeing a matter, in terms of legislative power, in terms of something more sophisticated than an argument, something more sophisticated and something that's more balanced than getting mad or angry. We're here to handle something in terms of a very hierarchy of society. This is what this is. So I don't know if everybody understand that or can agree. So you got these slaves, in which I am descendant of slaves on both sides of my family. And we have to understand descendants of slaves is not just about being a slave. You're also in the middle of something else. My great grandfather was white because my great grandmother was his mistress because she was supposed to be a slave. We didn't get a chance to partake in the labor in which my grandmother and everybody served. So they had to go and be poor and raise themselves up and progress in different sector. However, the United States offer these tax dollars in which we served as a blood sacrifice to other groups in terms of protection. That is not that you. So the law have been broken in a way by Constitution. I have not received my constitutional rights as a Negro, and now you're telling me I am an African American, and I'm not. I have the word Negro on my birth certificate. The word African American is a whistleblower term to confuse the black man. And I'm gonna tell you, they use what we come up with to detour us from a proper anchor, and it's to detour us from a power unit. What it means to have power in the United States, it means safety. You're safe with power. It's not that you reign power, you're aggressive, you're gonna hurt people now. No, that's an element that you need to be here in safety. You need power. Groups exist here in power. You have power, I have power, you have power. Now we can have a meeting at the table together. We all share the power. We all share the power. Now we can talk about in the apparatus in which we share it and we can exchange. It's for the safety of our community, our children and family. This is how people exist here. Groups exist in power. The East Indians are here. They're owning businesses all in the corner of communities, our community, their own community. The Jews are in power. They're all lawyers and everything. And they have this. The white people own the place. Of course, they own slaves. Okay, you have people existing here in power. The Asian people here are existing in places where they own stuff that serve black people, that they have locked and capitalized out of business. So when you try to open a business as a person who's supposed to be the battery of the society, the bottom feeder as a slave, what happens is you get all kinds of laws thrown at you, whether you being clean or whether you paying this tax on it or that tax on it, because you have not been chosen to exercise power in terms of capital. And when you do that, you can have a better anchor of choice. And this is why we talk about reparations. We are owed a blood debt where the banks are insured slaves. We have been the battery of this society. So you got to understand what it is to receive a reparation. It's not about begging. These are things that belong to us. We, as the slave descendant, we as the blood lineage of America's original sin, we still pay taxes. There are groups here that don't pay taxes according to what happened to them in America. Just not the Negro, not descendant of slavery. We still pay taxes. We still pay tuitions. When other institutions were born for us, that speaks volumes. That is in your face. 1, 2, 3, ABC. We are paying taxes to a society in which we were harmed the most, that we had to serve, that is the reason that the society is giving and able to protect people is because of our blood. In terms of while it's here, we are the bones, we're the flesh that made this country sprout muscle, in terms of the way it truly exists, and we still pay taxes. So we're taking care of illegals, we're taking care of Asians, we're taking care of everybody. We also shop with them because it's supply and demand in terms of capital. This is against the law, according to the descendant of slavery. According to the American Negro, we have a constitutional right that has been withheld from us by government. This has nothing to do with whether you like me or not. You're able to practice racism because of what my government has chosen to withhold from me and what my government has chosen not to serve according to me. This is not necessarily your fault. You're partaking in it because you can. And that's what white people are doing. It's not nobody jumping up somewhere. We ain't slaves no more. Yes, we can choose in our individual selves how we want to live our lives. But however, that's going to be an oppressed situation according to the way we're shaped in government. Well, we deserve what belongs to us. You can't normalize a situation to people except for the ones who are truly deserving to. That is against the law. And when it's written down in terms of my constitutional right, I'm the only person that you have not exchanged to in morale government and transparent government. And I serve the government. I pay taxes. I built the country. I'm truly an American. I have Native in me, and also, unfortunately, there's Caucasian there, and most of us Black people from bedwenches. And I have the American Negro, which is African. We are a people, and we belong to this society, and we are the reason for this, the beauty and the liberty of this society, the United States of America. Thank you for joining me.